No, I changed my mind. We're just good. We're going. We're just going.
Oh, good lord. Wait, we need a theme song.
No, dude, I can splice that in later.
Yeah, but
I can edit all of
we,
this in post. I'm not
but we
going
need to,
to.
but we need to talk about it.
I'm not
Like
going to because I'm lazy as
just,
hell.
just like we have to talk about our feelings, Daniel.
Okay, well we can
We
talk
have to
about
talk about.
that. We can talk about that afterwards. All right, hello. Hi, how are you?
Are you talking to Babers or is this me?
No, I'm talking to you. No, dude, it's
Oh,
you.
this
It's
is
you.
me.
It's you and me, one on one.
Oh, dude, I'm so touched.
Hold on, your audio's a little quiet. Let's bump you up a little bit. Say something.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
How's Cleveland?
I haven't really left the apartment much, so
Okay.
because I don't have a car, I'm
All
kind of
right.
stranded here every day. Um, so I haven't seen much of it, but from the bits I have seen of the fast food restaurants and the movie theater, it's pretty chill.
There are top tier restaurants. There are top tier
Dude,
chain
there is Sonic,
American restaurants.
there is Sonic, there is Taco Bell,
All
and
right.
honestly, that's all that matters in life because you have tater tots and you have milkshakes, and then you have all the food you could ever want to eat ever breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and fourth meal.
Mm-hmm. And
So
tea time.
I'm pretty much set.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Taco Bell's a little bit farther away than I would want, a little bit farther away, but I'll accept that.
So wait, does Brenna have a car then? I mean, does unnamed girlfriend have a car?
Yes, Brenna. I mean, Felicity does indeed have a car, but she
Okay.
takes it to work every day.
All right.
And then once I actually move out here, I'll have my car, and then also.
Wait, you're not moving. Okay, wait. Okay, wait. Start over. Okay, wait. Hold on. Let's go back to camp because I haven't talked to you in I think 4 years, and
Yeah,
so
it's been about that long, and yet I listed you as my personal reference for my lease.
oh
So
my God, I can't believe you did that. Tell me, how was camp? What did you even do? All I know is that there was children and there was Minecraft and there were
yes,
sad children that didn't know how to read and
yes. So for context for the viewers or the listeners,
oh
as
my
it were,
God, I don't even know who would listen to this, but okay.
no one with any real life. Anyway, for context, I had a job at a basically was a computer camp for ages all the way from basically 7 to 17. And basically our job was uh, we basically teach a class every week. Kids come in every week and we teach them about usually a lot of them focus on game design, different things in game design, things like that. We teach them for a week and there's a lot of fun activities, the whole camp culture thing. Anyway, particularly, my job was I dealt with for the majority of the summer 10 to 12-year-olds, and the goal was to teach them game design using Minecraft as a game engine instead of just playing Minecraft.
Hmm.
And the job was the job was very exhausting. It was a great job, but it was exhausting because the hours that we would work would be um, basically you work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 2 days a week. You work from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. 2 days a week.
Okay.
Fridays you work 7 a.m. to about 6 p.m. and then Sundays you work from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m.
All
So
right.
I think I did the math out, and it's something along the hours of 90 hours a week of like working technically.
Yeah, but you lived there.
Yes.
Okay. So that
Yes.
makes it a little bit easier to justify working 90 hours a week. Is that you were essentially a part of the camp culture.
Yes. And
Okay.
like the job and like the work isn't like all that. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, like being a camp counselor and like making sure kids have fun, like playing games with kids, like is a hard job. It's not, or it's not like it's the worst thing in the world. Like I liked it. It's just that it was you are technically still working for like almost 100 hours a week,
Wow.
and it's like so you just get very very little time to yourself. And even like how we talk about how kind of from the hours of 9 to 5 every day, a lot of that time is spent like you're teaching and like instructing and teaching like 10-year-old kids who just wanted to come in and like just play Minecraft all day. You're like trying to teach them like actual game design and stuff like that. So it's kind of like you do some like legitimate lectures,
Yeah.
and
I have a Minecraft thing to circle back to later. Actually, I just thought of it, but
you have like
it's Minecraft and children.
you have to like prepare lectures and stuff. And so like if you want to do that, like anytime you want to prepare for like your class that you're teaching, you have to do that on your own time somehow.
Right.
And you just so like there would be nights where I was like up till like 2 a.m. preparing things, and like after working to like 11 p.m. and then waking up at 6 a.m. to like do it all again, and it was a lot, but it was good.
You probably learned a lot on how to prepare from your Stuco that you
Yeah, no, that helps. That helps.
and also, you know, the 4 years of university class schooling that you received.
It's
Probably
true.
didn't hurt.
The one difficult part was literally before getting this job, I had never played Minecraft before.
Oh,
So
God.
I got hired in like April, May-ish, and they're like, yeah, like we think we're gonna have you do the Minecraft course, but we're not sure yet. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh wait,
And then-
Minecraft course? So wait, that's just one aspect of the.
Oh yeah. There's
Camp-
like
the
they
camp
offer like
ecosystem.
16 different courses. Yeah, like I would have 8 students every week, and then
Different
the
students?
kids. What? Hmm?
Different students or the same ones?
I would have like 8 campers in my class,
Right.
quote unquote,
But
and then
were they the same?
it's a week-long
Well,
class.
Oh, I
It's
see.
a week-long class, so like it basically changed every week.
Okay.
And the camp as a whole would have about 120 campers per week.
I got
So like there would be like 2 to 3 different sections of Minecraft classes, but then the rest would be like different stuff because the Minecraft one's obviously very popular.
Right. Yeah, because the kids in the Minecraft and things, and Minecraft on Android.
Yeah, dude, kids love it with like
Okay.
16 by 16.
Okay,
block
so
images.
like, I never was able to get into Minecraft.
Yes,
Like I saw that it was a thing,
Mhm.
like back when it was, you know, like Notch, and people were like hyping on like, oh my god, this Notch guy. People love Minecraft, but I mean, I never had any motivation to do anything with it. Like my understanding of Minecraft is that there's 2 different modes, I guess. One is where it's just like a giant sandbox where you just like
Right.
have an entire Earth and you can just basically do whatever you want in it.
right. There is creative mode, and then there's like adventure / survival.
Yeah,
mode.
and then the adventure mode, which is just like you do whatever you want, but you have some restrictions, and when it gets dark, you can die because there's things.
Right. Well, it's like so in creative mode, like you have no health bar, like things don't really even attack you. Basically, you just go around and like you can build whatever you want, and you can just be like, what do I want to put here, and you just put it there,
Yeah.
right? And so you can build like these. I've seen people build like really cool, really crazy things.
Yeah.
But that's not really like there's no real game to it. It's just like a form of creative expression. And then there's like the adventure mode, which is like you start off and you have nothing. And this is like where the actual game is. It's like you have to like start from scratch and like mine the stuff to then build up to make new stuff to then like be able to mine other things to eventually build up. You know what I'm saying?
But there's no way to, even in adventure mode, there's no real way to win.
There actually is.
Oh.
It's not
Interesting.
obvious. What
Okay.
you have to do is you have to eventually mine all the materials you need to make what's called an end portal.
Okay.
And so there's an alternate dimension that you can go to called, very creatively, the end, because it's
Alright.
the end of the game. And what you do is you make this portal, and you hop in the portal, and you get transferred to this alternate dimension, and basically there's this thing called the Ender Dragon, and you're just like, the end is just like the Ender Dragon's lair. And you just basically then you fight the Ender Dragon in this weird combat system, and then like if you beat the Ender Dragon, you quote win the game unquote.
Oh, interesting.
But it's
I
like
actually- I
entirely.
actually did not know that.
Yeah, I did not know that either. It's like entirely like not obvious. Like
Huh.
in my opinion.
Minecraft. It has a plot.
Yeah. No, like so I
They're
got
making the movie, the Minecraft movie.
Oh my god, dude, it's like the Lego movie.
Right. So
But actually
that
with
was
worse
my thing.
graphics.
So like, is Minecraft for the kids today, for the young ones today, is that like what Legos were, like for us growing up? Like, do kids
You know,
still play with
yeah.
Legos? Do they even know what Legos are? Lego?
I think they do. In a way, it is like right
They're
now.
bricks, right? Okay.
But the problem is that like Lego. Okay, so when you played with Legos, right, you were learning like creativity, and you're learning like engineering, and you were learning like all these things, right? Like, I mean, not
I
really, but like
mean, you
you
might
can
have. I'm
argue.
just making a sweet house. Like,
Yeah, yeah. But like you know, it's like a toy that a lot of kids played with that had a lot of like. If your kid was gonna play with a toy, Lego was a pretty good toy to play with. It wasn't like super mindless, you know.
right, right.
Whereas Minecraft, kind of, the way I've seen these kids play it when they're like not doing work and doing free time, like it's incredibly mindless.
Mm.
like
Mm.
like when they put their minds to it, they can make some pretty cool things. But for the most part, it's 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 pretty disappointing.
God, God forbid you ever have children and just like you're gonna like have like a daughter that's like 4 years old, and she's going to like have done a drawing, and you're gonna look at it and just be like, "Wow, great!" And then you're gonna like turn to whatever guy you're married to, and you're gonna be like, "This drawing is just horrible. Like, she just sucks. She sucks at drawing. Dude. Like, she can't even color within the lines."
What's gonna happen is like you're gonna have this kid, right? And they're
Yeah.
gonna be like 7 years old or something, right? Like 6 or 7 years old, and they're gonna start drawing things. And the
Uh-huh.
problem is they're gonna start drawing things that are just like inertly phallic. And they're
Right.
gonna show you these pictures, you'd be like, no, yeah, like look what I drew. And as parents, you kind of look at each other and just like, you see the penis, like you see it, it's there, it's obvious. But like the kid's looking, smiling at you, and like once it gets to like that 6, 7, 8-year-old range, like
Yeah.
like especially in terms of 7 or 8, like you don't know if they're just still naive and ignorant and they don't know it, they don't see it, or if they're just like actually trolling you.
Yeah.
And so it's just like this
They
game
know.
of like,
They know.
oh yeah, honey, that no, dude, if they're 6 years old, they have no idea. I taught I taught there was like I didn't teach it, but one of my coworkers was teaching a Minecraft class. He was teaching a section. It was for 7 to 9-year-olds,
Yeah.
and we use this program called MC Edit, and basically what it lets you do is like put in like giant structures like in one click, but they're like generically shaped structures. So like you type in the dimensions for like a sphere or like rather an ellipsoid, right, and like puts it in the map, or like a rectangular prism or something like that.
Yeah.
And so the little kids would so very frequently like accidentally just place like giant dicks, like giant dicks into their worlds, like, and they weren't conscious of it. They weren't conscious that like these were penises they were putting in, but like we look at it and we're just like, that's an incredibly phallic object, and like me and my coworker just look at each other and like, you like the way that's there? And the kid's like, yeah, I like it, and we're just like, okay. And, like, we hope the parents don't comment on it.
Right. Oh man. Oh, because I guess the parents would get to review their child's work, as it were.
Oh yeah, yeah. The parents come in every Friday, and the kids like show off the game that they made and everything, and
Oh, that's interesting.
then the parents like fill out. Dude, it's really hardcore. The parents fill out like an evaluation, like a survey. It's like
The
how
parents
much do you think
grade their children?
well, no, like they grade us, like they grade the camp,
Oh,
but like that
They-
those are like our weekly performance reviews, and it's like horrifying.
that sounds like a gamed up version of like the American education system. We're just like you're a teacher, and your approval ratings are based on like taxes, essentially.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah. No, yeah, the Minecraft is big. At work, there was a small child with 4 other small children and their mother who looked very haggard and very tired because, 5 kids. And she was just this kid is just shouting as they're walking along, "I'm gonna get a Minecraft cake for my birthday." And it was like, I mean, if that's what you want, like that's really the end of the anecdote. The kid wants a Minecraft. Minecraft is big. It's big.
yeah. No, it is.
You can buy the pickaxes in like
Yeah.
Walmart.
Yeah. No, so like I'm with you on the boat where I never really got Minecraft, like.
Yeah.
Because I didn't play it until I had to for my job, and even then I played it for like 4 days, and I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with this. Like, I'll just go in and like learn specifically the things I need to.
So
But-
I think yeah, I think my biggest delve into the Minecraft experience, because I have actually played it before, was I was in Canada and my I guess I guess she would count as my niece. It's like a step niece sort of situation. It's weird. But small little girl that's ostensibly related to me. Was really into Minecraft, and like her older brother like has the Xbox, and there's Minecraft for Xbox now, and so like whenever he's not playing and he's not being mean, she can play Minecraft on the Xbox, and like that first off sounds awful, like an awful experience, and it is.
Yeah,
But
it is.
it's like the only way that she can play, and so she's like, I'm playing Minecraft on the Xbox, whatever. And so she wanted to play with me, and so we got it set up on the Xbox that we brought to Canada, and got two controllers and did the split screen, and we started playing, and like we were in sandbox mode, and I think like after about 15 minutes of me figuring out how to fly around, figuring out how to dig, I think I had dug about a mile into the earth and was surrounded by lava and had things like attacking me, but not really attacking me because it was the creative mode, and
Yeah.
so they didn't actually do anything. And like Abby, this little girl was just having the time of her life. She was like, I'm building a tower out of like 1 by 1 blocks, and it's a straight up tower. It is literally 1 by 1 by a million, and it was just but yeah, that's like my experience with it, and it just like it didn't. I don't know, like it's very detailed. There's a lot to it,
Hmm.
but
No,
I
it's
mean,
a very well made game. I didn't get anything out of it.
mhm.
That's just me.
Is that us getting old? Do you think?
No,
Are you sure?
I don't. I hope not. I
Because
had I had this like thought the other day, and like, cause I talked to you about this, the fact that I'm buying my parents a new computer,
yes, you're buying them a new computer, and yes.
and like all these computers obviously come with Windows 8 or Windows 8.1 now, and I'm going to have to wipe the computer and install Windows 7 on it after I buy it, which is of course going to add $100 to the cost, but it's the only way they'll be able to use the computer because
You can't use your student discount? Do you still have a student discount?
I don't think I do anymore. But it's just so
Doesn't matter.
sad, and I'm like, and like I haven't felt yet like horribly out of touch with technology. Like I haven't ever picked up the device and been like, I don't know how to use this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know there's like things, especially like certain like web things that I'm just like not aware of and like not privy to, and like
I'm
that frightens me. Like
I'm
10 years,
super worried about this.
yeah. I'm afraid that like 10 years in the future, I'm gonna be that guy who's like, what is book face? Like I don't understand. Like is it
The kids aren't on the Fook base anymore.
they're not?
They're leaving. They're leaving the Facebook.
That's what somebody told me, and I was like, I don't believe you. And like that's
Well,
one of the things. Like I don't know what they're on. They're on something else. I don't even know what it is.
so I mean, obviously they're doing the Tumblr and the Instagram.
Oh, do people actually
Yeah,
really?
so people treat their Tumblrs and their Instagrams as their social things, I
Oh,
think.
but that's so gross.
Yeah, and
I feel so bad for
I know
them.
some people they do the Snapchat, but they don't really do that anymore.
Well, like
They're just I mean, like
it's
the kids. I think the kids just they text, they SMS, and they just like move on to something new every 6 months because they all need Adderall
I guess maybe.
because it's overdiagnosed. I don't know. But like
Is it
my
because Facebook's like too much effort for them?
like their parents are there for starters
Oh,
because you don't want to be anywhere your parents are because then they'll see what you're doing, and even if it's
yeah.
like not explicitly bad, like you don't want you don't want your parents to like walk you into into
No.
school into first
Yeah,
period
that's a
or
good
anything.
point.
Like that's
Like
super embarrassing.
if my parents were like 10 or 15 years younger, they might have had Facebook, and like so for these kids whose parents are 10 or
Yeah,
15 years younger than mine, a lot of them are on Facebook.
yeah. Okay.
I had the agreement with my parents straight up in there. I was like, if you guys ever get Facebook, I'm not gonna stop you. I'm also not gonna friend you. And they're like, yeah, we understand. You want your privacy. And I was like, thank God. I can still
I
post pictures of me getting drunk.
I mean I have a system set up so that I never have to be in the position where I refuse a Facebook request.
Do you
But
have
I
two?
mean, like, it's super not interesting. So, um,
You just have two Facebooks.
no, no, no. I only have one account. I have one
You
account.
said you
No,
have like the privacy setting thing or whatever, so you have like
yeah, yeah.
a
Well, okay. So,
restricted
all
friend
right.
list.
Since you twisted my arm, I'll just tell you.
Dude,
Like
Indian sunburns for days.
basically, um, I made a separate group of like friends because you can do this. There's like friend groups you can do. I made a separate group called acquaintances.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
don't know they're in my acquaintance group. They
Yeah,
just
yeah.
friends with
And
me.
then you can post things to like all of your friends, like your non-acquainted friends, or like you can post it to groups.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
so you
like
post
like
it. Yeah.
yeah, like sorry any family members under 18 that are listening to this, but yeah, there are some things that I have not shared with you that I've posted on Facebook simply because I have a group in my Facebook called No Kids Allowed. And that allows me to post things which might, like might not be suitable for children, or like it allows me to divide things up. But I mean, like, I'm a
Yeah.
nerd, so I felt
I
like
mean,
doing that, but it's
the,
just
the real question is, do you have a Facebook friend group for No Johns?
a friend group for No Johns.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, like, do you have a friend list that is just No Johns and
No
there's no
Johns.
Johns allowed?
I thought
Yeah.
that was our Smash group.
Okay, you made the joke fall flat on its face. Next.
All right, yeah, no, I don't get it.
But I do have stories for camp that I could share with you.
I mean, you could share stories. I really just wanted to say one thing before we, of course, go back to camp stories.
Okay. Go for it.
Just about aging and getting old, and just so I.
Oh, this depressing topic. We're gonna stay on it.
Well, no, I'll let it die in a second. All right, calm down. I
Just like our familiarity with technology.
like every
Die
time.
in a
Well, yeah,
second.
like every time I encounter an old person that like, or an elder, as we, um, that doesn't understand like how to iPad, or that doesn't like doesn't know how to email, or doesn't really appreciate the fact that if you just press this one button, you could be watching the HD channel. It's the same content, but it's HD, and you're paying for it on your cable.
You
So
mean you mean my parents?
I don't. Well, I mean, your parents are a pretty good example, I guess. Of sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Papali, but yeah, like the I never saw myself getting out of touch with like whatever is interesting or technologically hip, as it were.
Mm.
But I'm worried, like with the Minecraft, that it might be starting.
I mean, that's different. That's like if the new Pokemon came out, like whatever would be the thing that like whatever completely pop culture phenomenon thing came out. And like if you're like 25 years old and it's targeted for like 8 to 13-year-olds, that doesn't mean like you're out of touch with technology.
I guess
It's
that's
just
true.
like because I'm not afraid of like being out of touch with like the popular video games. I don't care. Like I'll find whatever video games make me happy and like play them, and
Yeah.
like whatever's targeted for me will likely be what I want. And if I don't find some games that I enjoy, it's not a big deal. I don't have like that much time to play video games anyway.
Right.
But I'm afraid of like there's going to be some piece of technology that I just fundamentally won't be able to use. Because so far in my life, basically every piece of technology I've been able to pick up and just through playing around with it, figure out how it works and be able to use it quite well.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying I'm not saying like power user necessarily for anything, but like I would be like a like very comfortable user, you know?
Yeah.
And so far with almost every device I've been able to touch in my life, I'm able to do that.
Okay.
And I'm just worried that in like something will happen, like for some reason, and in like 10 or 15 years, technology will start coming out, and I'll be like that guy who's like, I don't understand how to use this, and that terrifies me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know
Really
if that's.
morbid.
I know, but I don't know if that's something that like I can fix just by being like like tech savvy just carries over, and like my willingness to like play around with the device until I understand it, just my
Yeah.
natural curiosity of technology, like
Mhm.
will do that because I try and help my parents with things, and the thing that I just feel like is their problem is they don't want to learn how to use
Mhm.
things, and like everyone who's kind of almost over that hump, like who's almost in that like I almost want to call it like they're in like an age of entitlement.
Ooh, is that a baby boomers thing?
Yeah, like I think so. Like
Okay.
they feel like they've given almost like the point where like they've given so much and like they've succeeded so much that like they're entitled in a
Mhm.
way that like things should just work for them.
Right,
And in the sense that
like Obama.
like they're smart and successful and like so like this technology should just like it should just like work for them as opposed to like they got smart and they were successful by like working towards something and like that's like you it's for some reason like they almost don't think it carries over with like technology and things like you have to like I wasn't born like I knew how to use a computer. It was
Yeah.
like I spent literally hundreds or thousands of hours on the computer and now I just understand how it works and like my parents like take that for granted and they're not like, oh, I should like spend time on this thing that I want to be able to use better. It's just like, David, how do I use this better? And it's like, well,
Yeah.
I can show
It's,
you how to do things, but like you're not going to learn.
yeah. I don't think it's as bad as it used to be, like maybe 5 years ago, because 5 years ago the stereotype was so real where, like, oh, don't know how to get something working on your stuff? Ask a teenager, they probably know it better than you do. And that was like super true in almost every family.
Yeah.
And now I don't think it's as bad because I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. iPhones got easier to use. I don't actually know why that's not a thing. Maybe all the teenagers grew up
Yeah.
and all the old people died, and
It could
it's just
just
a
be like
generational thing.
they got over, the initial hump of not knowing how to use it. I bet because I'm actually on the opposite end. I felt that not necessarily as a society, but from my personal experience, it's gotten worse because back back when I was in high school or middle school, whatever, and like my parents had an issue, like I walk over to the computer, I like do it for them, I show them stuff, or like if it's like something that's obscure, like they mess something up, I fix it for them, tell them not to worry about it, or if
Yeah.
it's like oh how do I like attach something to an email, I like walk them through it.
Right.
And like it takes like 30 seconds because I just like sit there and do it with them or do it for them, and
God,
it's really easy.
this
But
reminds me.
ever since I've moved out, essentially
Do they
like
call
haven't
you?
been
Do
living
they
out.
call you all the time?
Yeah, they'll call me and I have to try and like walk through like them like with words. And if you've ever tried to do tech support with words and not like being able to point at the screen or even see the screen, it's incredibly difficult and incredibly infuriating. Like
No, yeah, I know. I know. I've had to deal with this even just like in my new job, which I
yeah.
have, I have some stories about my new job, but like I don't know, maybe maybe you should have set up some sort of screen sharing setup before you left. Of course, why would you do that? Because then they would just ask you for help more,
Yeah.
right?
It's so funny because especially like I can't even recreate the things anymore. I can't like necessarily recreate the things because
Right.
like they're on Windows 7 or whatever, and like just and they'll
Oh, I
just
see what you mean. Like
yeah.
follow along on your end, and
Yeah, like so I can't even like necessarily like recreate things exactly.
it's
Like
like
I can do it
go to
when they have
tools, go to
yeah,
preferences. Oh, but I don't see the tools. It's like, oh wait, this is the Windows 8 version. Damn it.
yeah, and like to me it's and the part of the other problem is like part of like stuff is so intuitive that like I don't necessarily know off the top of my head like how to do it. It's like okay, go to control panel or something,
Yeah.
and they're like what? I'm like, go to the control panel. Like, I don't see the control panel. I'm like, oh no, like click start, go to control panel. Like, it's just stuff like that. There's just this disconnect. I'm like, even
Yeah.
when I think I'm doing step by step things, I realize that like I have to give them all the three sub processes of like go to the bottom left of the screen, click on the button with the left mouse button only once, and then left click on the control panel word. Like I have to do all that, and I can't just say go to control panel.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have to tell you this. So this happened day before yesterday, where I got a call from one of the real estate guys in the office, basically, like in one of the other offices, basically saying like, "Oh, oh, you're not Kristen, you're the new guy. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, for what it's worth, yeah, what do you want? So, and he was basically like, all right, so I need a document. It's like a rental agreement or something, some document that we have in the office, and I can't get the PDF to open on my computer. I've tried everything that I can think of, and the document won't open. It won't open on Trueforms. I can't figure it out. So what I need you to do is, and this guy's like in his 50s or something like that. He's like, I need you to go to the back and find the form and scan it and email it to me, and then I'll be able to open it from there because I can't get it working. And how his problem was resolved was not because of scanning and emailing a piece of paper. It was by fixing the issue that he was having with opening PDFs. But it was just like he thought that scanning and emailing a document was going to fix the problem he was having with Adobe. It was like it was completely ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like, I can't figure out how to open this thing, so send me a new version of it that takes a lot of effort so that I can then fail to open that one. It's
And
like,
I mean, like,
do you not see that you're still going to have to open? No, you don't? Okay.
yeah. I forwarded the whole situation on my supervisors, and they took care of it. I think what they ended up doing was like sending him some instructions on how to get Adobe working, and also like another copy of the document, like from the website that he was having trouble on. But like, it's just like it's stuff like that where I've impressed people at this job. It's a real estate office full of old people. I think the youngest person there is in her mid-30s. So I am like the guy, like the new young blood, I guess, as it were. And nobody really knows how to do anything on a computer besides email. And so, like, I impressed my supervisor and like 3 other people by taking a grid in Excel and subtracting it from another grid to show a grid of differences between the 2 arrays of numbers.
Wow.
Yeah, like this is like an 8 by 40 like grid of cells, and it was just numbers. Like it was like values of amounts of properties in these areas like area by one axis was area, one axis by price, or something like that. And all I did was like this is the change from month to month, and I just like I selected one, subtracted from the other. It's like, here you go.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh my God, that is the most amazing. That's so useful." And it's like, well, you're still using fax machines, okay? Like,
Dude,
I understand.
my mom loves the fax machine. She tries to fax everything, and I'm just kind of like, and it's so funny because, like, honestly, I don't know how to use a fax machine. So my mom's like, David, I'm having trouble with the fax machine. And I was like, Mom, I've never used a fax machine my entire life. Like, that's from your generation. I can't help you because there's like an actual generation gap there. I've never like successfully had to use a piece of technology that involved like a phone line. Like, I can't. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't figure it out and you've used it like tens of times before, I can walk over there and press all the big buttons that look like they have the words on it that are applicable to the situation. That's about all I can do.
Yeah.
Like, start,
No,
cancel,
fax
send.
machines are a little weird, actually, because it's like you have to make sure the line's not busy, and you have to press the button, and when it comes in, some machines you have to like say okay. And you know what? This is not interesting.
Yeah, let's not
What
talk about
about-
fax machines.
Fax machines. Tell me about camps. Tell me camp stories. Tell me the best camp story.
Okay. There's a couple. There's a couple pretty good ones.
All right.
So, one of them is there was a camper that on Monday morning. He came to check in.
Yeah.
And we'll say that his name was Neil. Okay.
Meal as in like pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening. That kind of meal.
No, Neil.
Oh,
Just-
Neil. Okay.
Yeah, like Neil Armstrong, just to protect identity here.
All right. Yeah. Of course.
And he checks in, and he's I think he's about 10 or 11 years old.
Okay.
Actually, it might have been closer to 12. He might have been 11 or 12.
All right.
And he's with his mom, and I'm like going through the list of names. I'm like, oh, dude, you're gonna be in my class, awesome, and like give him a high five or whatever it is. And notice that he's got a rather large stuffed Pikachu in his other arm.
Okay. Oh, dude, you love that. You love that Pokemon.
Exactly, and I'm like, dude, I love Pokemon. Like, I love Pikachu. Like, I have a couple stuffed Pikachus that like people have given me. I'm like, I'm gonna get along with this kid just great. And like, but very, very soon after, I kind of start to realize, like, just minutes after spending time with this kid, that something's not quite all there.
Okay.
Now his stuffed Pikachu, his name is Sparky. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. It's like,
pretty good.
You know, he brings like his stuff toward a camp. It's like a comfort thing. That's fine. That's cool. But then he went on to inform me that Sparky was a level 51 Pikachu, which means that he just learned Thunder at level 50. And as we all know, Thunder is a very powerful electric attack, right? But it's also very inaccurate. But luckily,
70%.
yeah, it's not very accurate. But luckily, Neil is an Oshawott.
Oh, okay.
Neil himself is a Pokemon.
The small child is.
The small child is himself. He refers to himself as a Pokemon.
Is LARPing as
a water type Pokemon.
A 6th generation Pokemon. All right.
No, I think it was Gen 5.
Gen 5 is Oshawott Gen 5? I don't.
I think so. It's not Gen 6. Anyway, it's not the point.
I'm so out of the loop. I don't even remember. Gen 8. You know who?
It was probably Generation Y. But the real point here is that he was a water type Pokemon who was level 49, who knew Rain Dance, which meant that when he used Rain Dance, not only did it boost the power of his water type moves, but also made it so that Sparky's Thunder always hit.
Nice. I actually knew that.
Yeah, and so yeah, but the thing was, he was the Oshawott.
All right.
And Sparky had an actual level associated with him.
Okay.
At this point, I was concerned.
Yeah.
Okay. But I figured, yeah, you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
It's just a LARPing 10-year-old. Don't even live action roleplay.
Yeah. And so basically on the first day he had a bit of a meltdown.
Okay.
He felt way too pressured with what we were trying to teach him. He basically felt like he couldn't handle it. And so we had to basically totally throw the brakes on for him and say, okay, listen, buddy, like you don't have to like do what we're doing. Like, what do you want to do? What will make you happy? And he's like, I want to make pixel art in Minecraft. And I'm like, awesome, dude, let's make pixel art in Minecraft. All right, like, what do you want to make pixel art of? And so basically then for the rest of the week, he did nothing in class except for create pixel art for various Pokemon.
All right.
Literally, he must, like, all he did all week was make, like, probably 50, 60 different something Pokemon in pixel art in Minecraft, and, like, that was all he made.
That sounds pretty cool.
And, like, he did it well and everything, but it was just, like, that was all he did. Like, we threw all expectations of the class aside, all expectations of making, like, a project, a game, using Minecraft as a game engine, and just, like, yeah, buddy, we'll let you do your pixel art thing because or else you're going to call your mom and want to go home.
What happened at the review with the parents?
I mean, his mom seemed very understanding of the situation, like didn't question it.
That's good.
Because we had to talk to her on the first day, and basically we talked to her and said, okay, like, listen, we think the plan of action here to keep him happy at camp is like he's not gonna like make a real project. Like, we're gonna let him do what makes him happy. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. I totally understand. Let's just give him a happy week.
See, that's that's nice. It doesn't make for a better story, but it's nice.
Yeah. So, but then there's times when they play like LAN games in class, and so his username, like on the LAN names, would always be Neil the Oshawott.
Okay.
Like Neil _ the Oshawott. and in the afternoon, there's times when we go outside for like afternoon activity, like we play capture the flag or kickball, just like some outdoor games, so the kids aren't on the computers literally 24/7.
Yeah.
But
oh god, flashbacks to ADHD study. Remind me to circle back to that.
And so part of the thing was, we go outside, and he's like, yeah, I don't want to play the game. And I was like, well, you gotta like stay with us. He's like, well, I'll stay with you guys. Can I can I do my role-playing game? And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, never mind, you're just gonna think it's stupid. I was like, no, 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 like, as long as you stay with us, you can play by yourself if you want. And he's like, okay. And so I would watch him for like the hour we were outside, kind of like while watching with the other kids, and he would just kind of stand in his own kind of isolated corner of the field by a tree and just
Hmm.
like pace around the tree for like literally the full hour,
Okay.
presumably what I could tell talking to himself and like literally doing like I guess going through some sort of role play in his mind,
What a loner.
presumably about Pokemon, possibly about being an Oshawott who's level 49, working
Yeah.
to get to level 50, etc., etc.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's the story of Neil the Oshawott.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Did I tell you, not to strictly one up you, have I told you about how I went to an ADHD study when I was living in Los Angeles? Have I told you any of this?
No.
Okay. So, um,
But dude, the hype is real.
I mean, it's an okay story. Basically, my brother and I, obviously, we're both diagnosed with ADHD. We're both like, at least, and like especially earlier in our so very young lives, we didn't have we had a lot of difficulties focusing on things. We had a lot of difficulties, um, like sometimes even like making friends and that sort of thing, or like not being entirely 100% impulsive about everything.
Mm.
And I've gotten a little better about it, I think. Like I still drift and lose my train of thought and just like have I mean, like you enjoy the company of an ADD ADHD person, so you kind of understand. But I mean, it's not as like I don't think it's been a rough road. But anyway, so when my brother and I were God, Los Angeles, maybe we were 8 and 9. That's my guess, but I'd have to look that up later. We were living in Los Angeles because my dad was going to grad school at UCLA.
Right.
And my parents, I guess, discovered that they were having every weekend or every Sunday they would have an all-day study for like 8 weeks for ADHD kids, where I guess they would give us a drug, and it was one of those types of studies, like a drug study, where you'd go in the morning at like 7 in the morning, and you take the drug, and they'd monitor you throughout the day. And so, like, I don't remember having a say in the matter, but I remember the incentives being good, and I'll tell you about the incentives at the end of the story because they were at the end of the day. But in the morning, so
Were they
we'd show
Pokemon cards?
we'd be what?
Were they Pokemon cards?
They were I mean that was one of the options,
Oh
but
my god.
not the good kind of Pokemon cards.
Oh,
And
dude, I have something to circle back to.
yeah, yeah, all right. But so in the mornings we would get there and of course be in a room with 25 other ADHD kids of like ages between 7 and 14 or something like that. And we'd all sit down and like they give us breakfast and stuff like and we got to choose like do you want cereal, do you want like some fruit, do you want like yogurt or something like that. Like a bunch of fun kid breakfasts and we got to eat take our whatever medicine it was with the breakfast. And so like it was in a capsule and you could take it apart and all like you sprinkle the medicine whatever. That's not interesting. We took our
Really?
pills. What?
Could you actually do that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they were like they were the translucent dissolvable capsules, and you can take them apart, and the medicine is a bunch of little beads, and you could sprinkle it on food and eat it that way,
Oh my god.
or you could just take it like with water or whatever. Anyway, and so immediately after eating our medicine, we were all released into this room full of video games. And by that I mean there were like 6 TVs with consoles hooked up to each one. There were like Game Boys tethered to desks everywhere. There were like there were like puzzles and board games and stuff like that too. But of course everybody wanted to go play the video games, and so they let us loose in this giant room of video games, and we just would play video games and stuff for about 30 minutes, I think, or maybe it was an hour. I can't remember. But we would do that for an hour, and then they'd be like, all right, time to go to the next room. And so we go into the next room, and they'd sit us all down, and we would do like speed math puzzle thing, not puzzles, but like speed math times tables.
Hmm.
Like they would give us all a worksheet with 30 math problems on it, like 8 times 6 is what, or like for the younger kids they would do like addition, subtraction, older kids got multiplication, division, and they would sit us down and they would give us a minute, and we had to do as many problems as we could. And then they're like, all right, to the next thing. And so like, and then for an hour we would like be outside, like playing kickball or doing something recreational or something like that. And then they bring us back in for lunch, and then we do the whole cycle again: video games, math puzzles, recreation, and just video games, math puzzles, recreation. We would do that over and over and over again until it was time to go. And with the exception of some days, they would take blood.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like they would take blood, I think once every 4 weeks or something like that, like for like testing and stuff like that. And then of course, and then at the end of the day, they were like, "All right, you get to pick one of the prizes," and the prizes were like basically shitty Cracker Jack toys or like stuff you'd get out of like not the gumball machines, but like the more expensive gumball like machines that you remember in like Toys R Us they got like
Yeah.
a capsule full of like Sailor Moon tattoos and like Beyblades and stuff like you basically gave us the options of those or quote unquote Pokemon cards. And what I mean by Pokemon cards
Oh
are
god, I'm afraid.
not the actual Pokemon cards like the ones you could use in the TCG, but cards with that's basically like it's a picture of the Pokemon and it's like its number and its name, and then on the back it has information about it and how it relates to the anime. And it was not round. The edges were not rounded; they were square, and it was cardboard. And these were their Pokemon cards. And so like I got like a Horsey, and it was like Horsey was used by Misty in the episode. And it's like
Wait,
this is some of the moves it knows.
Did these have full art on the front side?
What?
Did these have like full legitimate art on the front side?
I think it was. I think they were legitimate Nintendo products.
Yes.
Or like
no, because I think I've had
Yeah.
some.
Yeah. They had like full art, but I think the art was just like honestly like screen grabbed from the anime. For the
Yeah.
most part.
But like they were legitimate like products. Like they just weren't TCG cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that
anyway.
sucks though.
Yeah, anyway, that's my story. So we went to that for about 8 weeks. They took blood. They made us play video games, and I think my parents got compensated with cash, but I mean, I never saw any of it. So
Dude, you were like literally a lab rat.
I mean, basically like every Sunday for 8 weeks. But we got Pokemon cards out of quote unquote Pokemon cards out of it.
Dude, more importantly, you got to play video games.
Well, I mean, but yeah, right? Like that was the only time I ever got to play Pokemon Snap. Like, because
Oh, dude, that's so worth it then.
I didn't have an N64. I had we had the PS1, and we
Dude,
played
Pokemon-
PlayStation 1 games. That was our
Pokemon
console.
Snap was like one of the best games ever. Like that was worth it.
Yeah, no, it was pretty
Like
good.
being medically experimented on is worth it. You get to play Pokemon Snap for like a solid 8 hours.
Snap and Pokemon Stadium, but people
Oh,
weren't
dude.
allowed to bring in their like red, blue, or yellow version, so we had to use like the stock teams.
So they were
Yeah.
not fun.
Yeah, but you had a
Yeah.
thing about cards.
Yeah, so speaking of Pokemon cards and incentives, there was when I can't remember how old I was. I couldn't have been. I probably was around 8 or 9 years old. Maybe even 7 or 8, somewhere around there. And basically, my cousin was having a wedding,
Mhm.
and I was supposed to be the ring bearer, being the cute little boy that I was. And so I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, that's fine. Okay. And then
Mhm.
the like dress rehearsal, whatever, comes along, and I find out that I have to hold the flower girl's hand.
Mm.
And like we walk down the aisle together and whatever. And I was like, what? Ew, I don't want to hold her hand. She's a girl. And like, full on like cooties, like second, third grade, whatever. Like, I don't want to do this. And so I was like throwing a tantrum apparently in the dress rehearsal, like I'm not doing this, and my parents were just like just try like in damage control mode, like okay, what can we give you that will like you'll be okay with this? And I was like, and so me being like the devious like 7-year-old that I was like, oh, I'm gonna get something good out of this, like I'm gonna make sure that like I get something real good, and I'm like. And so I was like, being the good negotiator, I was like, I'm gonna set my stakes high first. I'm gonna go for something so high they would never go for it, right?
Hmm.
So I was like, I want a foil Charizard card.
Oh man.
And my parents well, like, how much is one of those? Like, is it that rare? And I was like, it's like $18 or something, which I think it was. Like,
Yeah.
and it needs being like 7-year-olds. I'm like, they're never gonna go. Because like $18 is way too much, right? And they're like, yeah, sure, that's fine, whatever. And I was like, what, really? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Now go hold her hand and walk down the aisle. And I was like, yes. And so
Dude.
sure enough, like the day after the wedding, I made my mom drive to the local comic book shop, and then I pointed to the one in the case that I wanted, and I got the foil Charizard card that I always dreamed of, and I still have it to this day.
Wow. Do you know if like so wait, okay, because I definitely remember in the comic shops that I went to, there being the displays full of like single unit cards that you could get.
Yeah.
Was that like a Nintendo like a program or something, or did they just like was it just like reselling collected cards from packs? Do you know? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, no, I have a lot of insight into how the trading card industry works, actually.
Oh,
And
for real? Interesting. I never would have guessed.
and the way that it works is like when a new set comes out or whatever, they'll open up literally, you know, how, like the booster packs come in boxes that have like somewhere between like 20 or 30 booster packs in them,
Yeah.
right? And like they have like little display things and stuff like that. So they order them by boxes, right? Or actually, I think more accurately, depending on the store, by pallet, which is like has X boxes in it.
Right.
And so when a set comes out, the store will open up like some number of boxes of booster packs just to open them up to have singles to sell.
Oh, okay.
And so when sets come out is one of the busiest times for them because they have to like on their own time and on their own man hours like just open up like literally hundreds of packs of cards, maybe even on the order of 1,000 to get the cards that people want.
Right.
So then be able to sell them and inventory all of them and sort all of them and like put them in the right place. And dude,
I
it's
feel like
brutal.
I feel like I feel like that would be fun for about 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's
And you
terrible.
would be like, "Oh God, another water energy. All right, put it on the stack."
Dude, and you think about it like I don't even know. I guess like you sort by common, uncommon, and rares, and just you don't really sort like the commons or uncommons out right away. You just try and get the rares that people are like, this set just came out, I want a Charizard, give it to me, and like you just you have those ready.
Yeah.
Because no one's gonna come in and be like, I want to star you.
Could you please give me a Rattata?
I want a Goldeen.
Oh my God.
Goldeen. But yeah, that's how that works.
Okay, that's interesting. So they don't sell singles. They don't like print off the good ones. And stuff.
Yeah, I know.
And that's legal? Like they can sell
reason.
off the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. Because I know like having a little bit of experience with dealing with products in bulk. I know that there's a lot of laws around like selling things. Like you see it on like a juice box or whatever. Like
Yeah, like not for
individual
sale.
sale.
Yeah.
And
No,
so
I
don't
mean,
know if there's restrictions with it or what.
nope. I mean, as it's there, like every game store across the country does it, across the world does it, and like no one, I don't think, because like they don't have what do you call it? Like the people who make the game have nothing to lose from that. Like in all honesty,
That's
because like
true.
it means like in order for that like individual product to have been sold, like they still had to have bought like so much of the product for them to open.
Well, okay, so all right, but like then
You could argue that like if they would then put that money into like the booster packs.
Yeah. Well, like that's the big problem that people have with used video games, right? Like that the publishers have. It's like used video games are ruining the video game market and economy because people are just apparently buying used video games, and I think I've bought a used video game twice,
Yeah.
and like I
But-
have so many new ones. So
I mean, also there's there's an entirely different culture associated to
That's
something
true.
it's literally marketed as like a trading card game.
yeah,
Like the whole point is like you're supposed to be able to trade the cards. Like part of the culture is like these things are kind of for individual sale, as opposed to video games. Like there's nothing more wrong with like video games than like there's no industry aside from maybe movies that are like more like bigger pricks about the fact that like like we're kind of sort of in a way theoretically losing out on money when they're not really at all, and so like it's
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like going back to the and by going back I mean talking about something we haven't even talked about in the past. What are we at now? 54 minutes.
Shoutouts to YouTube.
Dude, shoutouts to YouTube. With like movies and people pirating them and stuff, like the movie industry's always been saying, like these are sales that they're losing.
Yeah,
but
which
in
is
reality,
totally
a lot of
bogus.
these things that people are torrenting, they wouldn't have watched otherwise. Like if the torrenting option wasn't
Exactly.
there, they wouldn't have gone and bought it.
Exactly. That's
And
the
that's what I
thing.
keep hearing, and it's just like, well, it's really actually kind of helping your brand.
I heard like one figure from a couple of years ago, and that's exactly what they do. They say like we lost like X dollars in damages from torrenters, like that's what they sue for, or whatever. And they assume that like every downloaded movie is like one sale or something they lost, or like possibly even more, which is
Yeah.
totally bogus. And the thing is that there was at one point where like they like asked, or there was some report where they asked for damages that was like more money than is like in circulation, like in the U.S.
Yeah.
They claim that they had more damage into them than is like
$60
possible.
billion.
Yeah, or whatever. And
Yeah.
it was like there's not even that much money in circulation. Like you're just completely wrong.
Yeah.
And because it was something on the order of like trillions, and it's like that's not how that works. And like I can't, and like they still made the claim, even though it's like you don't see like this inherent flaw in your argument if you're arguing that you lost more money than you could literally possibly lose.
Yeah.
They're like, no, it's all money that would have been ours. Like we would have bankrupted the rest of the world.
That's more money than you've ever made ever, cumulatively. You expect it's just like I'm sorry, I'm sick. That's why I keep coughing. I need a cough button, like a button that I can just hold down for like when I cough. Tay-Zonday,
What?
Tay-Zonday. So he pulls his face away from the microphone when he breathes, when he sings.
Oh, the chocolate rain dude.
Yeah, the chocolate rain guy. That's why it sounds so. Like that's why that's like a big thing in like the comments of the video.
I mean, it's not like incorrect.
No, it's yeah, like, but yeah, I need a cough button. That's what I'll be doing this regularly.
I could give you 2 more stories from camp that are my a couple of my favorites.
All right, you have what, like 6 minutes.
Okay. All right, let's do it. So
Go.
the first one is basically I had this one kid, and he was 6 years old. I was teaching 1 week of like a 7 to 10-year-old class.
Yeah.
And he was like 6 years old, and I don't know how exactly he got in the class. I think he had like an older brother at the camp too, but he did. Because you're supposed to be 7 to 10. And he was like struggling all day on like what we were supposed to be doing, like really clearly struggling. I had to like help on each individual step along the way. And so his mom comes and picks him up like at like 1 or 2 or like 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so like picks him up early. And she picks him up, and I'm like, oh hi, like nice to meet you. She's like, oh nice to meet you too. And she's like, oh, so by the way, is the fact that he can't read gonna be a problem? And like I like paused for like 3
You're
seconds
like,
as like I collected myself, and then I forced a smile and said, we're of course going to try and make this course as accessible as possible to him. But like, and then of course this kid completely struggled bus for the rest of the week because he literally couldn't read. And like the program he was using, it wasn't Minecraft, it was something else. Like it wasn't that hard to use, but you had to be able to read to be able to navigate through the program. Like, not an unreasonable request. So it was just, he struggled all week because he literally couldn't read. And I had to like, So story number 2 is,
yeah.
remember
This
Neil
one better be
Oshawott?
better because I want to end on the best story.
Remember, this was not my personal experience, but I heard of it. So remember Neil the Oshawott?
Yeah.
So one of his best friends at camp, we'll call him John. Okay?
Okay. All right. I see what you did there. All right.
His name's John.
All right.
What? I didn't do anything there. I'm just saying his name's John.
Okay.
Anyway, so John was like one of the like he was an awesome kid, like an awesome camper. He's always like super full of energy, like super nice, just like super kind of hyper all the time, but not like completely off the walls way. The one thing was though he was like a really 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 large space cadet.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
one of the things you'd be like you go over and like you see the game he's making, you'd be like, oh John, why don't you like add this to your game? You'd be like, yeah, cool, all right, yeah, I'll do it. And then you come over 30 minutes later, he's like, hey John, you do the thing, and he's like, oh no, I forgot, sorry. It's just like, oh okay, John, like try and remember, like you should really do it. Like he was a good kid, just total kind of airhead. And so apparently one time, like we shared a bathroom because we just like the bathroom of like the floor that we were on. Like the counselors share the same bathroom as the kids, the male counselors and the male campers.
Yeah.
And so one instructor is he already has an alias because we have camp aliases. His alias was Mega, as in Mega Man.
All right.
And so he was in the bathroom washing his hands.
What was your alias?
Mine was Flux.
Okay.
As in well, I guess flux capacitor is like what most people attributed to.
There's a couple. You could draw from a couple of things. All right, continue.
Exactly. I drew from physics and the fact that it was one syllable and had an X, which meant that it was clearly cool.
Fair enough.
But anyway, so he's in the bathroom washing his hands, and all of a sudden he hears a voice that goes, Mega? And he turns around and he sees John standing in one of the stalls with the door open, and he's like, yeah, John? And the kid just goes back, I didn't make it. What do you mean you didn't make it? I mean, I didn't make it to the bathroom in time. And like, as he says that, he starts seeing like, the pants kind of in certain places start to become darker.
Oh
right?
No.
He starts seeing it, and he's just like, oh no, John. And so he like got him paper towels and like tried to clean him up, and it's like, yeah, this is a little kid, right? And so he's like to the bathroom, like, yeah, clean yourself up best you can. But his like pants are just completely like stained at this point, like they're wet. There's no real salvaging them much. And so he's just like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. And so Mega, like being the amazing person that he is, he goes over to the sink and splashes a ton of water on his crotch.
Right.
Like
on his own crotch?
Yeah, on his own crotch.
Right.
Like, and like all over the place, like randomly.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey John, guess what? He's like, what? The pipe burst. He's like, the pipe burst? The pipe burst. The pipe burst? The pipe burst. He's like, the pipe burst. Yeah, the pipe burst, of course. And so that's how.
What a bro.
Oh, and the last little tidbit of the story was it was John's birthday.
Aww.
The kid peed his pants on his birthday. And then, of course, after they came up with the whole story of the pipe burst thing, he goes back to class and he's like the happiest little camper you've ever seen. Like, he didn't let it like ruin his day at all. But that was one of my favorite stories. Just, Mega? Yeah, John? I didn't make it. That's just one of my favorite things.
Awesome.
And that's the shit I had to deal with at camp. I didn't fortunately have to deal with actual shit. But I
See, that was what I was worried about when you started telling me that story. All right, I gotta stop the broadcast.
Okay.
Because it's 7:30. Your lady gets here.
No, I mean, I haven't gotten the call yet to let her in. She's out, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Yeah, she probably forgot that she was gonna come home because oh, that was me. It's really bad.
All right.
Anyway.
All right. It's been fun. It's been great. It's been real.
Bye.
See ya.
Wait, do we have a message for the viewers?
I was just gonna hit stop broadcasting and keep talking to you for another half hour, but.
Well, we gotta give them some.
Hi, viewers. Hi. If you made it this far, congratulations. We talked for a lot about nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And remember, kids, don't do drugs.
Is it a problem that he can't read?